It's too dangerous to go alone. So animals all over the world form massive groups for safety, migration, reproduction, and feeding.
Hold on to your seats. You're about to see one of the world's great aerial acrobatic teams in action.
But with just rudimentary forms of communication, how do they coordinate movement without crashing into each other? And how do they even know where to go?
A group of daring young pilots who have group flying down to a science. They had better know their lessons too, for one slip and you flunk out.
This is the amazing world of flocking and swarming. Hi, I'm Aranya Iyer, and you're watching Animalogic Second Nature. Animal swarming and flocking are such regular occurrences in the natural world that we barely think about them. But below the surface of universality, there's a deep ocean of mysteries and complex behaviors we still don't fully understand.
What makes man great is his habit of asking great questions.
There are basically three main questions we can ask about every swarming species. How do they do it? Why do they do it? And how did they evolve to do it?
And this is part of the power of science, that you can first ask and answer the question how, and then the question why.
Let's start with one of the coolest examples of flocking behavior before we dig deeply into the science. Starlings have some of the most mesmerizing flocks in the world. Every winter, these birds join up in groups of thousands of birds called murmurations. The largest flock ever recorded was estimated to have over 5 million birds, but the average flock contains only about 30,000 starlings. These murmurations are special because of their size, noisiness, and fluidity. Each individual is incredibly fast, traveling at speeds of up to 55 kilometers an hour. They're also just a couple of meters away from each other, so their reaction time has to be lightning fast to prevent them from crashing into each other. It's like tailgating another car on the freeway, only in this case there are also cars behind, above, and below them.
Their tight formations bring wingtips only 3 feet apart, so you think it's tough driving in heavy traffic, eh?
How individuals move within murmurations is a growing area of research with applications in physics, computer science, and mathematics. It's still a little bit of a work in progress, but scientists believe that starlings keep track of their 7 closest neighbors. If their neighbors move right, they move right. If one goes up, the others will follow. This simple rule helps gigantic groups fly with surprising coordination. But the question still is, why do they do it? The leading hypothesis is a dilution effect theory. Most flocking animals live in areas with lots of predators. In the starlings' case, birds of prey like hawks and falcons are the main threat. The theory is simply that the more of you there are, the lower your chances of getting caught. For example, if you're by yourself and you run into a hungry predator, there's an almost 100% chance that it will try to eat you. If you're with a buddy, that risk goes down to 50%. If you're with 10,000 other friends, there's only a 0.01 chance that you'll be the target. So in short, it's a strategy for risk dilution. But things get a little more complicated when you consider that within a group, not all members have the same chance of being a target for a predator. Those in the middle of the group are a lot safer than those on the outskirts. So a big part of the chaotic nature of murmurations can be explained by birds from the edges of the group trying to get closer to the safer middle. This is a selfish herd theory. Each member of the group tries to put other individuals between themselves and the predators. Of course, this is unconfirmed because it's pretty much impossible to prove. But the fact that when predators are around, the starlings fly closer to each other and try to get closer to the middle seems to support the hypothesis. Other birds who form murmurations like these, but in smaller scales, are tree swallows and red-winged blackbirds, whose flocks can be hundreds of thousands strong. This type of flocking is not the same as bird colonies, which, confusingly, are also called flocks. Many birds fly together during their migrations in search of food and better weather. And even more species get together to breed in the same area. Over 1,000 of the nearly 10,000 known bird species nest in colonies, but only a very small portion of them fly in the organized chaos that starlings do. Every February, close to 500,000 sandhill cranes stop in Nebraska for a pit stop on their way from the American South to their subarctic feeding grounds. Middle of nowhere Nebraska is not gonna make my road trip must-see list, but the state's wetlands are a treasure trove of prey for the cranes to bulk up before they fly all the way to Canada and Alaska. Penguins have massive colonies, including the largest known colony at Zavodovsky Island, which is home to over 1 million breeding pairs. Even in cities, we see incredibly large bird flocks, with up to 100,000 greater and lesser flamingos flying to Mumbai to feed on the crustaceans and blue-green algae. Other than birds, fish are the animals most associated with living in giant groups that seem to move in perfect coordination.
Many of these fish could not exist without the help of the others. That's why they form huge groups called schools. These schools allow for safety in numbers. Also, they keep the group together for breeding.
Fish form shoals or schools for the same reason starlings do. Large numbers of fish reduce each fish's chance of getting caught. Their shiny scales, colorful patterns, and fast movement confuse predators and make it harder for them to pick one fish to attack. This is called the predator confusion effect. There's also a theory that in fish, especially in deeper waters where visibility is lower, having all those eyes constantly scanning for predators helps them spot danger faster. This is aptly known as the many eyes theory. Once the shoal starts moving, the fish use their lateral line organ, which is ultra-sensitive to changes in pressure. A fish swimming in a school can sense the distance and speed of their neighbors by the waves they make when they swim. And just like starlings, it constantly shifts its speed and direction to stay at the same distance with their neighbors. The biggest and most amazing of all fish schools is the African sardine run. The shoals can be up to 7 kilometers long, 1.5 kilometers wide, and 30 meters deep. Basically, twice as long and wide as Central Park in Manhattan. In terms of biomass, these sardines equal the great wildebeest migration, and it's pretty much impossible to count how many fish there are. But a school of those dimensions has a volume of over 300 million cubic meters. Even if you're conservative and assume that each sardine, which is only up to 30 centimeters long, occupies a couple of cubic meters of space, the numbers are probably in the billions. Other tiny fish, often in much smaller groups, make spinning spherical schools called bait balls. These usually happen when there are predators around, and there are no other defense options available. The fish know they're going to get attacked, so diluting their individual risk of predation is their last chance of survival. But evolution is often an arms race, and predators have learned to attack these bait balls ballistically. The danger comes from all sides. In the sky, gannets flying in circles waiting for the right moment to dive and hit the bait ball before fish have time to react. Gannets are huge, with a wingspan of up to 2 meters, and when they make contact with the water, they're usually diving at around 100 kilometers an hour. To protect themselves, their nostrils are on the inside of their beaks, and air sacs bubble wrap their heads as they hit the water. A large gannet colony is a bombardment of hungry beaks. Not a POV I would want as a tiny fish. Underwater, several predatory fish have adapted different techniques to attack prey fish meatballs. Sailfish use their sails to herd the fish and then use their bills to stun their prey. Dolphins corral the fish into shallow water, where they can be caught more easily. And from the bottom, whales lunge feed, often in groups. They swim up from the bottom, with their cavernous mouths wide open, catching entire bait balls in a single lunge. Talk about efficiency. So even though they have the power of coordination and safety in numbers, it still kind of sucks to be a little fish.
The buzzing's coming closer. Are you set to squash it? Eager to whack it to kingdom come? Is your hand quivering, your teeth clenched, your eyes staring, your brow wrinkled?
Lastly, we have massive insect swarms. Social insects like bees and ants seem to coordinate huge amounts of colony members, using communication based on pheromones, and in some cases like bees, on movement. There is a lot to be said about collective intelligence, and it deserves its own episode. So, we're going to focus on insects that move together. Let's start with the greatest insect migration in the world, the flight of the monarch butterfly, from as far north as Canada to fir forests in central Mexico. Up to 1 billion monarchs fly every year, using primarily their internal clock and the position of the sun in the sky as a compass. This is such a long trek that it takes 4 generations for a round trip, though the southbound leg of the trek is done by a single generation.
We still don't know how they manage to not crash into each other.
They do fly in less cohesive groups than birds or fish, and their motto seems to be simply, worry about yourself. The majority of research focuses on how they find their final destination, rather than how they fly as a group. But maybe one day, we'll get more insights into this.
Then we have the much feared locusts, a swarm so huge and destructive that most ancient world religions considered them divine punishments.
And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. They did eat every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees, and there remained not any green thing.
There are 20 locust species distributed all over the world. Your country is probably on the potential path of a locust swarm. Congratulations! During most of their lives, they're solitary grasshoppers. But as they get overcrowded, serotonin in their bodies makes them reproduce faster, eat more, and grow larger wings to be able to fly. The presence of locusts turns other grasshoppers into locusts, and the swarm grows into billions of individuals, eating everything in their path.
These swarms only end once the weather turns dry, cold, or they run out of food to devour.
But we're still only starting to understand how they move as a swarm. Their flight is more chaotic than vertebrate migrations, but they all fly in a common direction.
This is a mystery that we unfortunately will have lots of opportunity to study because climate change is making conditions better for locusts.
In 2019, a swarm emerged in East Africa, causing widespread crop losses in countries in Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia. It took hundreds of millions of dollars to control it with pesticides, which of course also affected other local insect populations.
This is a massive problem that has been going on since prehistoric times and will continue for the foreseeable future. Flocking in other species also seems to have been going for hundreds of millions of years and have evolved independently many times.
The oldest sign of swarming we have is this fossil of a conga line of Ampix priscus trilobites. This is similar to a behavior seen in the horseshoe crab, where multiple males were following a female to fertilize her eggs during their amazing breeding event. There are several evolutionary models that show how animals could very quickly evolve to swarm to avoid predators, as it seems to be an innate behavior. We can even see it in humans when large groups experience external danger.
So in short, this is an incredibly deep and complex behavior that happens all over the world in thousands of species, but it's been effective enough to help those species survive. After all, it's dangerous to go alone.
Come on, move it! What do you punk think you're doing anyway?
What was that you called us?
I just bought that car. Now look.
So what should we talk about next? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every week. Keep soaring to new heights, and I'll see you later. Bye!